Question 11, we're filling in a cumulative frequency table to start with. So cumulative is when you accumulate over time, so you add them up as you go along. You can see that the first number in each of these groups is 0. So the first one is group from 0 to 50, which is the 8. The next one is 0 to 100, which is the first plus the second. So we just add the second group to what we've got so far. It's a running total, basically. And we can keep going. If we keep going, it's always a running total of what we're adding on next. So 18 plus 26 is going to be 44. And then add the 35, we get to 79. Add 5, we get to 84. And add 16, we get to 100. So carrying on, we have to then plot our cumulative frequency graph for part B. Cumulative frequency graphs are always plotted on the endpoints of the groups, and 0 starts at the first at the 0 on the group. So we start at 0, 0. The scale going up is 10 every 5 squares, so 1 square is worth 2. So we've got to be careful of that. So at 50 we've got 8, because we've got 50 and 8. At 100 we've got 18, and we carry on like that. So 118, 150, 44, 279, between two squares there, that's a bit trickier, 250, 84, and 300, 100. Then if you join those points together, you've created your cumulative frequency graph. It doesn't have to be in straight lines, but straight lines is easiest and you still get marks for it. If you don't use straight lines and your graph ends up curving back down at any point, you'll lose marks for that. Alright. So finally, we then have to estimate the number of days on which the profit was less than £175. So if we draw a line from £175 profit, you can see that is at the bottom of the graph. The profit is on the bottom. So draw a line up from £175 profit. Where that intersects our cumulative frequency graph, if we then draw a line to the left, we can read off the scale. And you can see here we are on the second square up. Each square is going up by 2 each time, if you recall, so that must be 62. It doesn't have to be exactly 62. Remember, when we have a graph like this, this is an estimate, so there'll be a range of values. Alright, so 62 days. For the interquartile range, well, we have to recognize we have 100 altogether, 100 days altogether. So the quartiles are going to be at 25 days and 75 days. So if I draw a line across from 25 days and measure it down, you can see the profit here. Now you've got to be careful of the scale again here. So each little square is going up by 5 each time. So the way I've got it on my graph, that's about £112 profit. And the upper quartile, we've got to do at 75. So we go across at 75, come down. I can see I'm reading that at about 195. So the interquartile range is going to be the upper quartile, which is 195. Take away the lower quartile, 112. So that, for me, ends up being £83 as an estimated interquartile range. It's an estimate only because you're reading it off a graph, which isn't the most accurate thing in the world to do. You got 1 mark for correctly filling in your cumulative frequency table, 1 mark for plotting all but 1 point correctly, 1 mark for joining the points up, 1 mark for correct answer for the estimate here, 1 mark for correctly identifying quartiles, and 1 mark for getting your answer within the specified range of answers on the mark scheme.